This is Shelley.
And this is Finn.
We're mom
and son.
And we're always trying to explain things to each other. With this podcast, we're hoping that we never have to say again, how many times do I have to tell you? Hey Finn.
Hello.
Everybody.
We're back.
I always think of a caveat the second before we go on air, which is that this is a new location for me. And ironically, I do not have a door in this location, as opposed to the last location, which I also did not have a door, but I'm in a room in my new house that doesn't actually have a physical door. So if I get interrupted by dog, husband, natural disaster or something, then it's unavoidable.
I can always edit it out too if we need to take a break in the middle. So yeah, it is. It's not an issue.
All right. Okay. There's my caveat. Okay. So our topic I thought this is another one. God, I'm just like full of caveats. So do you think it's a good idea for us to intro each episode with the name of the podcast, which we already did because that was the intro that we already played, but how we are so far away from the name?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a moot point. Okay,
because I think that some people will be coming in just for individual episodes, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's called How Many Times Do I Have to Tell You? And it is based on the idea that you and I were talking about the phenomenon that we have to be told certain things over and over, and sometimes by a variety of people before we actually learn what they are.
Yeah.
And that the podcast started out so that we would talk about things that we were both telling each other over and over. And that really didn't go very far. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we did a pilot, an unaired pilot. So I think we switched over to just telling shared stories.
Right. And so this one is as far away from that idea as ever.
Yeah, that's true. We're just in another topic.
Yeah, we're just going to start talking. But so my topic today, which is what I came up with out of the blue, made a bunch of notes on and then immediately forgot why I thought this was such a good idea, is things that we have learned from each other that may not be the obvious things. Like, I don't know, parents learn from their children things like, oh, how weird time is, and
Sure.
how much they love people and whatever, how indefinite their love is or infinite or whatever. And children learn from their parents. Excuse me, all the usual like parent child stuff as well. But I thought we could talk about things that we've learned from each other that are not your typical.
Yeah.
And I wrote down some ideas. And then I went walking today in preparation for just the day, just walking, and realized that I couldn't really remember why I had thought of any of the ideas that I wrote down. Like I just jotted them down and then walked away from them because I got them out of my head onto the paper and it was just basic notes. Couldn't remember anything. So I'm just going to let you go first and hope that I think of stuff.
All right. Yeah, I went through a few revisions on mine as well, trying to figure out what was best.
You're going to be so much more prepared than me.
I don't know. One of them is, I think, an obvious one for your and my relationship growing up, but it is something that I think not a lot of people get from their parents, is how to edit. Because you were the editor for a magazine for so many years. And you also, have a English degree and all this very technical, like English language knowledge. And so growing up, right, you would help me edit essays for school. I guess that was the main thing that I was writing, right? And that skill is something that I like use all the time, right, when I'm writing now. And I realized, oh, not everybody has that. Like it feels like this like hidden superpower, where I can go in and be like, oh, here's like how I want to change this. Here's how I want to change that. Like I remember some of the, although it's not, I don't think we actually use them very much, but the different like editing little marks and stuff, those are still in my head.
Good.
But it's just a very useful thing that comes up a lot when I'm working that I am grateful for that not everybody has.
I think that it's also not just about literally editing, writing, but it's a mindset,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
Back to the
critical
quote.
thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. How to say clearly what you mean and think about the audience while you're saying it. And a lot of it that uh, to me might not, or not every, what am I trying to say? Not everyone might associate with editing is removing things. Thinking, is this like something that actually serves
Yes.
the purpose of what I'm trying to
Yes.
say? So when I'm going through and like today I wrote an abstract, for example, I went through each line and I'm like, is this actually contributing to what I'm trying to do? And this is a that kind of skill. You said it's more broad than just like writing individual or like writing English. It's I use that in music as well, and this is something that Dalton has talked about being a very important skill for music making is thinking for each thing I'm adding, is it serving the goal? You know, is it
Yes. What is the value? Like weighing the value
yeah,
of of of
it's
everything and
being very
making sure
intentional.
that it's reaching the value, its potential, right? The most value that it could, and making sure that that value is, part of the whole, is significantly contributing to the whole as
Yeah.
well as, yeah.
So
Cool.
that's one thing.
I'm
I think
honored.
that's the most I think that's probably the most obvious uh unconventional thing that I have learned from you. Um
Okay, I'll
yeah.
take that one and I'll run with it then, because I think very related to that, and I'm so glad that you said something because you gave me something to talk about. Is when I couldn't remember what my notes meant. Is the importance of not exaggerating. Uh, and I feel like you taught me this, but you'll have to interrupt if this wasn't you. Um, but I am a big exaggerator, and I think it has to do with my love of storytelling
Mm,
and how much I get carried away with how it sounds what I'm saying and what an impact it's making and whether it is entertaining, really. And I will exaggerate in order to strengthen the story or strengthen the impact.
mm,
And it's not always truthful, or the exaggeration is never truthful. And I have learned that that's actually lying. And if it's not truthful, then it is lying. And I think that goes along with what you're saying, where um, weighing exactly what you're saying and is its value in relating the truth. And if truth is one of your values, like a core human value, then are you matching that value with what you're saying? God, I think I've
yeah.
talked myself around in circles,
No,
but
I think that was
you know what
clear.
I mean. Mm,
Yeah,
good.
I think that I mean I think telling a good story is also a good value. So it's not like this in my mind at least terrible immoral thing. It's just like a well I was just going to repeat exactly what you just said. It's trying to think about what am I trying to do by telling this story. And I think
Right.
it's you can connect better when you're when you're not exaggerating, I think. Like if you're relaying things more as they happened.
That you are giving a whole lot more credence to what you're saying. You are telling your listener that they can trust you, that you are not gonna fly off and say things that are not true, because whenever you say I never or I always, you know that those are almost always an
Yeah, yeah.
exaggeration. So you are telling your listener that they can trust what you say and believe in you, and I think that's important. And that is related to what you just said in some way that I can't remember. um, but you know the story that it's a crucial aspect of communication, right, is being believed, and um, not exaggerating is plays a big role, I think, in being able to communicate. uh, in a way that the other person really is listening to you and is really paying attention and is really trying to figure out the
Yeah.
deeper meanings about what you're saying. Like they're not having to even just think, is she really meaning what she says at all? Or is she just like flying off the handle and flying off the whatever that saying is, um, and exaggerating?
I think that there's some places for it. Like if you're telling like family stories, you know, I think
Oh,
that that's
sure.
the kind of place where it's important to play things up to make the good story out of it. And it's kind of known that like, oh, if this happened so long ago, this person probably doesn't remember it super well. So it's not like you're trying to communicate, uh, you know, very precise factual information, but more just how it relates to the family lore.
Sure. There are all these parameters to those kind of stories, or to
Yeah.
every different kind of story that allows you to apply different rules than the standard kind of, I'm just trying to communicate directly to someone. But much more aware now of my exaggerations because of either you catching me and doing it. Do you remember doing that with me?
I think so. I can't remember any particular instance, but I
Can't either.
have remembered thinking about this a little bit in the past because I was thinking about it with myself as well because I also have that tendency. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
just
thank
catching
you.
myself.
Yeah.
I don't think I have nearly as clean a segue into the next one, but something else that I've learned is I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but to like at concerts sometimes like if it's a sitting concert,
Hmm.
if we're on the end, you're going to stand up and be dancing, at the very end.
Hmm.
Or
You
if
mean the
other
end of the
people are
row?
like, yeah, into the row.
Hmm.
If it's the appropriate kind of music for that, or if it's a music festival and everyone else is, or not everyone else, but most people are like sitting on the, their, I am losing the word, but, picnic
Rope?
blanket thing.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
you're going to be standing up and
Tarp
dancing.
type thing.
Yeah, most of
Right.
the time. So that's the lesson there for me is that if you're feeling some strong emotion, if you're feeling music, then you should be dancing to it, regardless of any self-conscious like. I guess the application for me is when I'm in a party situation or at a bar, my instincts and I don't think this is as much case anymore, but for a while, my instincts were to be very reserved, and to be very self conscious about, oh, exactly how do I. And this is not to say that you're looking silly when you're dancing at all. It's because when I see you dancing when other people are not dancing, that's an admirable thing to me. I'm like, oh, look at mom just feeling the music and dancing and enjoying herself. How admirable is that? And it's a cool thing to see. And so I think about that. And then I think, well, if I'm having a good time at the bar, I can be dancing and I can do that. It like gives me that freedom thinking back to that.
Awesome. That is such a rich topic. Um, a topic dear to my heart in many ways. I'm so glad that that's something that you've thought about in relation to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, I think there are lots of different ways to experience music for one, but that if you're going to be doing it in a social setting, then and dancing is appropriate way to experience the music in that social setting,
Mhm.
then it's almost behooves you to participate in the social enjoyment of the music by
Yeah.
dancing. That's a that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah. Now if I see one person dancing and no one else dancing, I'm like, why isn't everyone else dancing? I'm like, this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I that kind of
That's
changed in a mindset from being like, self-conscious or thinking, oh, I'm not a very good dancer, or like, oh, I don't want to break the mold or whatever, to the music is playing, it's time to dance, is a very healthy
yeah,
mindset. I learned that
that's
from you.
cool. Good, good. I learned that something similar while living on the road. I didn't really catch on to that until near the end of my 6 years of living on the road, when I heard someone say it in an exact way. And that was working out where other people can see you and other people are not working out, like in campgrounds. I did that in the very beginning of being on the road, was I would go out into the campsite and do a workout and not care that other people were watching or whatever. But over the as the years passed, somehow I just stopped doing it, and then I became self-conscious and didn't
Oh
want to
no.
do it because I'd be like the
Uh-huh.
only person working out. Like, how weird is that? And then someone said just the right thing. He said, if other people see you working out, they're not thinking, boy, does she look stupid. They're thinking, I should be doing that,
Yeah.
which is exactly that, exactly your sentiment.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I mean, I think it's natural for us to kind of have that peer pressure, if you want to think of it negatively, but also positively, like to do the things that the other people are doing, as opposed to being judgmental about what they're doing. But did you want to join in? And
Yeah.
dancing definitely goes along with that.
Because yeah, if one person is doing something like that, I like I can't think of any time when I've noticed somebody being judgmental about it. It's more that other people, like if people aren't joining along, it's more that they're being self-conscious, you know. And this
Yeah,
person can act as an example of somebody who has released that inhibition and is able to actually enjoy themselves at this appropriate time to enjoy themselves. So I think that's a very good uh, a good thing, a good quality.
for sure. Absolutely. I have enjoyed doing that at Fish shows, especially and Grateful Dead shows. People are always dancing at both of those kind of shows. But I have had people come up to me. Like, it's why at concerts like that, where there are a ton of people and there are a big variety of people, I like to wear something bright and weird. I don't know. For some reason, I had some kind of purple flowy crown at some point. It was sparkly, and I used to have a pink feather boa. I didn't wear them at the same time, but it doesn't matter. Just wear one thing that kind of makes you stand out, because this is just going to sound like the wrong thing to say to your child. But a lot of these shows, people are doing psychedelics, right? And if they are feeling awkward, if they're feeling self conscious, they are having a bad time, they're inward focused.
Yeah.
And then they have the ability to be outward focused on somebody who's enjoying themselves and someone who is a kind of like a shining light, right? I don't want to be too cheesy, obvious there, but a positive force of energy, then they really tend to appreciate that, because I've had people come up to me in between sets or after shows just more times than I can count, saying, "Oh my God, I really enjoyed watching you dance." And I don't mean that in a creepy way. I just meant,
Uh,
you really kept me positive when I was, possibly having a bad time for a lot of different reasons, but you were so clearly having a good time, and it made me have a good time too. So,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So
All
seeing
right.
the actual impact of dancing when other people might not be dancing is teaches you to do that.
It does. The power of positivity
Yeah.
and of editing.
What
All right. I have
what have
no
you got
segue at
next?
all.
That
Um,
is all right.
oh my God, thinking in binary in terms of gender.
Yeah.
Um, oh, and I've so far to come for this, but I always knew that people are not all male or female,
Mhm.
like 100%, and they're not all 100%, geared toward being sexual identity and sexual attraction,
Yeah.
are not
Excuse me.
binary. And from a long time ago, I started out being fairly good at keeping an open mind about things not being just this way or that way. But my God, I was such a stick in the mud when it came to pronouns.
Uh,
because I am a stick in the mud about grammar, which people will be surprised who know me on social media because I just mistypo, but I just would not say they when I meant he or she for love nor money. Like that was just the
mhm.
last thing that I wanted to do, and I understood in theory the fact that some people don't identify as he or she, and so they pick they, and that I would want to grant them that status. That's fine. But I didn't want to do it for anyone else. I didn't want to think in terms of they ever. Um, I mean, even when let's see, I was doing my work in my degree on feminist literature, and I would say she instead of he
Mhm.
or she or they. I would just automatically say she everywhere because I felt like that was fair. We've said hey, he for so
Yeah.
long.
Well,
It's
I think
okay
you're
for
right
me to
there.
just say she, right? But I would never say they because that's just like fingernails on a chalkboard for me. It is just wrong in so many ways. But I've come to realize that you have to help
Mhm.
me in how to say this,
Sure.
that if I, let's say I identify as they, and
Mhm.
then I'm in a room full of 10 people, and I'm the only one who identifies as they, and everyone else is he or she, and it's not in an easy environment where I want to be able to, I have to describe that I'm they and why that is, and I have to make a big deal out of it. If other people in the room say they, because it's not that big of a deal what they are, then that makes it easier for me to be a they. But that's just like one tiny example. Um, there's so many situations where it just doesn't matter whether
Mhm.
you're a he or a she, it just or they. Like that's not how you, like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
grew up in a situation where we I'm sorry.
No, I
You
was just giving
described
credence that
somebody as being
it's
black
so
or
baked
white.
into our
It is.
language, that binary. Yeah. That once you internalize it, it's really hard to
Yeah.
get out of that.
But I'm
Um,
finally realizing that just as it's bad to start a conversation by saying, "Oh, this black woman at the stoplight, she just,"
yeah.
I mean, like, like that's the wrong thing to say for a bazillion reasons. And it's not the way I think. And it's the wrong thing to say now to say this man was, unless it's relevant that he's a man, unless I know that he identifies as male and that it's somehow part of the conversation, just say man, I don't
Mhm.
have to identify someone by their gender. It's not particularly helpful and it's actually harmful for a lot of people who don't want that to be the first thing that you think
Yeah.
about when you look at them. They have other characteristics. I'm saying this to you as if I'm convincing you, but it's definitely my head that needs to be convinced over and over and over.
Well, in
But
a,
I'm learning.
I think I don't know if that's always true because I have heard that there are some trans people who do want you to assume their gender and use pronouns
Oh,
because they've put a
sure.
lot of work into appearing as some gender.
Absolutely.
So if this is
Absolutely.
this situation where usually straight cis men will always use they for trans women,
Oh,
because and in that case the trans women, I have heard, and in some instances heard from particular people, really want to use she, her, right?
yes,
And would even
absolutely.
want like a stranger on the street to refer to them with she, her.
Absolutely.
Um,
They've worked very hard to be
yeah.
identified as she, her. It's
But
so core to their identity that they feel like, they deserve it and they want it and they don't want you to use anything
right.
else.
But
I
then some
understand that.
people, like you said, it's not important. And it makes sense to use they, or like, I think it's dependent on the people. And so it's hard to figure out very much. I think the important thing, and this is not me saying to say that you're doing anything wrong. I'm just talking to the recording mostly. I think that or entirely, in fact, I think the important thing is that if somebody does say, hey, this is the pronouns I want you to use to work to internalize that, you know?
Yes.
Like if you do know in some particular instance. Otherwise, I think people are generally good at giving leeway, unless it's
Right.
like super clear and they're dressing super mask or femme or something. And then you can probably,
Like my dentist, who I've misgendered, wrong. Is that right? Misgender,
yeah.
gendered
Yeah.
him
No, you got it.
wrongly. But it's hard when you have your mouth open and the person's talking, your eyes are closed, and you're like
Sure.
trying really hard. Oh my God, I can't remember. It's doctor so and so. But then someone walks in and they start referring to the doctor, and you have to all of a sudden come up with a gender. And I just do it wrong. It's like a tick. I've done it wrong twice now. Uh,
Um,
and they've always gone out of their way to make sure that I realize, both the dental hygienist and the dentist, that it's okay. Nobody's pissed off, but get it right. And oh God, no excuse anymore for me.
no, it's definitely some mental work, you know, it's not easy to change uh, how you internalize something.
Yeah.
One fun fact, and I might be pulling this out of my ass, but I think it's true. The singular they came before the plural they in the history of grammar in English. And it,
In English, really?
yes. So it was originally used. Oh, now I'm talking out of my ass, but I do remember reading that it used to be used for singular people with that they was, and then the plural form got added later. So that's just a little fun fact.
You mean like the interchangeable you?
Yeah, similarly to
Singular,
you, yeah.
plural?
I think you used to be only plural and then it went to singular because I think thou was the singular version of you
Mhm.
until
I'm
you
not gonna
became singular.
know what I'm talking about for sure, and I hate to
Me neither.
say
I'm just pulling
anything
this
when
out
I,
of
yeah.
something I read like 5 years ago. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um
I would, yeah, defer to, um,
etymologists.
wherever. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's leave that there. All right, that is something I learned from you. You have a very basic respect for other people that is extremely strong. It's very much a core value of yours. Not that I don't respect other people, but it is, I think your generation also is just a stronger respect for the individual and individual preferences. And I am
Yeah.
catching on slowly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also it took a while for me to um, even like learn about non-binary people or learn about they as singular. Like I remember in high school correcting my English teacher who used they in a plural sense. I'm like, don't you mean he or she? And I think back at that and I'm like, ah, but
Well, it's because you
it's a
were brought
journey.
up by a crazy person who is so strict about it. I probably taught you that way before I knew.
But before you knew, that's
Right,
I think
right.
the key.
Yeah, yeah, true.
And before I knew as well in that case. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the thing that's gonna take us more time to get used to, and I don't want to talk forever, but is neopronouns as well. I think that's those
What are
are
those?
even newer, just more words that you can use as pronouns than he, she, they.
Like what?
I know somebody who uses fae, so like FAE, which you use similarly to they, like you would conjure, like it would be like fae, femme, fair.
Are they fairies?
No, it's just a different pronoun. I think maybe it comes from that, but it's not like I don't think it's any kind of metaphysical claim. It's just a different word that people have different
Oh my God!
reasons.
One more thing I have to learn. No, that's my
That's my preview for the future of
okay.
learning about more pronouns.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
But I think it's all good. I think it's good for people to use it as a way of self-expression. But it definitely is can be difficult to internalize and learn about.
I guess
All right.
every generation feels like they have such a weight on them to learn all the new stuff. Like,
Uh,
like, oh my God, I had to learn the internet. I have to learn about, non-binary. There's just so much stuff I've had to learn. Now I gotta
yeah.
learn more pronouns. Oh my God. But probably every generation has been that way.
Um, yeah, I would think so. Uh, all right, I'm gonna move on to the next one.
Take your
Um,
time with this because my last one, I do not even remember why I have it written down.
okay. Um, uh, I wrote mine down in a way that does not lead to me directly saying things, but I have to figure out how I want to say each one. Um, I was thinking back to us both learning ukulele and
Mm.
learning singing as well. And I remember all these times that I was like, oh, you should learn this music theory, or like trying to throw in music theory facts, and how many times you were like, really, I'm interested in playing the ukulele and singing and making a style and singing these songs that I
Not like,
like.
yeah.
And it took me so long to realize that this is the lesson that I learned, is that people really can enjoy things in different ways than how I enjoy them. And
Oh,
it's
your honor that I was able to be a part of that, your lesson in your life. That's awesome.
like the what else do I want to say about that? Just realizing that, oh, your goal, I guess a lot of these are that we've talked about have been about goals, right? But your goal,
Mm.
as I understand it, in singing and
Oh,
playing
and
ukulele,
respecting other people too.
yeah, yeah. So goals and values
Mhm.
combined. But what I from what I understand it, your kind of musical goal is to play music and enjoy playing music. And for you, learning to this level of depth that I would, in my, like secretly wish that you would want to get in and learn all these technical
Not
music
so
things,
secret.
it's just not gonna, that's not gonna be something that is gonna give you what you want out of it, which is to
Right. Yeah,
sing and
that
to play
detracts from my
music.
joy.
Yeah,
Right.
you
Yeah.
have different goals, and you probably have more of an interest in establishing a style and singing in ways that different singers sing than I do. So there's, maybe I'm speaking for you, so I don't know if that's true, but I know that
Yeah. I
you
don't
would.
know if I can establish a style, but I just want to have fun with other people singing songs and listening. Just, I want it to be
It's
a
more a social
social.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, than it is
Yeah.
for me. Whereas I like to get in there and learn all the like math kind of elements of it.
Right.
So it was important for me to learn that, oh, we really do have these kind of not overlapping but different goals with doing music, and it's not a good idea for me to try and push too hard on my own goals, because you're doing your own thing.
No, that's an excellent analogy because I really struggle with having to remember that other people think differently than I do. I mean, there's a limit, there's a whole world out there of things that I can respect other people for thinking differently and feeling differently. But then there's some things that I'm like, I am intolerant. I cannot,
Uh-huh.
I cannot process the fact that they think differently and feel differently, and it's just not doesn't work for me. That I can't accept that. And maybe I need to always just keep this as like a little 3x5 card in my head, that your ukulele playing analogy, because it's a good one. My friend um Ty, who I met playing ukulele, is a very a technical player.
Mhm.
And when I sat down to play with him, he actually didn't know any songs at all, but like knew all of these complex chord progressions and fingering styles, and could just play, melody here or there. But it was really about the fun intricacies of learning it. And he said it wasn't until he started, the only gig that he could get teaching ukulele or doing ukulele in a way that gave him a reason to do it every day, other than just like learning new weird shit, was to teach it, and the only teaching gig he could get was to teach seniors at a senior center, and they did not want to learn the technical stuff. They
Yeah.
just wanted to learn how to sing and accompany themselves in a group. And so they he realized then, just making himself do that, that the same exact lesson, that it doesn't devalue the thing, with other people going at it with other goals. It simply, it can still be enjoyed by both people in two very
Yeah.
different ways. They don't have to impose their own system onto. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm still
sure.
trying to learn that lesson in some areas for sure. And some video game stuff, there's like certain, for example, in Sudoku, Joe, when Joe does Sudoku and streams Sudoku, he has it automatically marks whenever he's penciled in a digit that's wrong. Whereas I never do that. I always leave it so that it doesn't mark that. And so Joe will just, like, the way that he'll resolve wrong digits is just go through and remove any that are red. And in my brain, I'm like, oh no, you're missing out on so much. You're like that in
Right, you're
it,
doing it in an inferior manner.
yeah, and because in my brain, I'm like, oh, something I enjoy is being very careful and trying to figure out if I've pencil marked exactly right.
Yeah,
But that's not something Joe would enjoy about doing Sudoku. So it's this
right.
recognition we are different, and that's something I'm still working on myself in that particular respect.
I think Tracy and I have that problem with nearly everything that we do. And it's the exact same problem where he is very meticulous and I'm kind of the seat of my pants on a lot of things. And it just drives him insane that I am not more careful. And he just spends so much time trying to get me to realize, or he doesn't spend a lot of time trying to get me to realize. He actually just kind of patiently waits for me to get up to where he's right. And it's very frustrating to me because I kind of don't mind being wrong. All right. I mean, I kind of would rather move along. I mean, I don't mind being wrong on important things, but I would rather just kind of roll along by the seat of
Yeah,
my
it's like a
pants, enjoying life, not being all that exact and not being all that careful
it's a
and
different
not
value.
realizing that,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Whereas he is meticulous and careful and, yeah. I'm going on and on because I don't have a third item.
Oh,
I do, but I don't remember.
we could just end it there if you want.
Yeah, we could. Um,
Sorry.
I'll tell you one little tiny thing, and I'll be
Okay.
5 minutes with it, which
Okay.
is that if you want to use your phone less, don't put a whole bunch of apps on it.
Yeah.
I had to start totally over with my phone. I mean, all of my apps, all my data from my apps were backed up on the cloud, but actually, which apps were on my phone um, was not backed up. And you told me if you don't want to spend so much time looking at your phone, don't put so many apps on it. And damned if you're not right. If I really want to figure something out, then I have to pull down and find the app in the recesses of the cloud, right? Or I have to download it if I haven't used it in a while. And by that time, I don't even want to do that thing anymore. And voila, I've spent less time on my phone.
Yeah, I've been on a very anti-phone kick, and I found that that's very helpful for me is having less access, even just like having it in the library versus the home screen is
Yeah, it's a good deal.
is really helpful with that. Um,
I have another
yeah,
thing
that's
like that too.
what's that?
That I have, you know, how our whole how many times do I have to tell you core story was me telling you you needed to eat more and you
Yeah,
finally realizing you needed to eat more. I have been I gained a whole lot of weight when I got off the road and then I've been losing it all. Not all of it, but a lot of it very quickly. And it's just been just because I've been busy and I don't know, some physical medical stuff as well, whatever. I've been not eating as much and losing a lot of weight. And I've just been crashing. And I've had
Mm.
two instances where I just like felt so bad. And I just like lay on the couch, like, oh my God, I'm just gonna die. Something terrible is wrong. And I realized after a little while, oh, I need to eat food.
Mm.
Like it's been hours and hours since I ate, and that's why I feel bad. And I went to the kitchen and I ate food and I felt better. It's like, God damn, this whole time I've been telling you that, and now I'm telling myself that too.
I'm glad that
At
that's
least I've learned
helpful.
that, learned my own lesson through you in a way. A very
Mhm.
meta theme for this episode. Because
Well, I
I
think
had
oh,
more I'm sorry, I just had more, respect for myself. I had more, patience for myself, compassion for myself because I knew that you had done the same thing for so long. Not realizing that you needed to eat, not
oh, I see
realizing
what
that
you're
you
saying.
were so hungry, and, I wasn't like, "Duh," I was like, "Oh, well, that's just like Finn was." I just
Well,
actually
good.
need to recognize that, yeah. Alright, now I am releasing you from the podcast discussion.
Well, I was just going to say we should probably end the episode there. So
Yes, we
thanks,
should.
Internet, for watching. Sorry, it's been a while. There's been all sorts of things going on. Mom lost her voice for like a month.
Oh, yes,
It's
indeed.
a big factor for difficulty in podcasting.
Yep.
Maybe that was more than a month, but we don't need to go into details.
Yeah,
Maybe I
whatever.
don't
I
even
got it
remember
back
how
now.
much. Yeah, it's back now. But anyway, I think that's the end of the episode.
All
So
right, nice podcasting with you, Finn.
you too, Mom, and
Bye.
Internet. We'll see you later.
Yep.